Alright, things are getting real weird right now in the world. I'm sure you've all seen the UFO hysteria. Every couple hours, it seems like a new UFO is being identified and blasted out of the sky. This is a phenomenon that's happening around the world, it seems, and it's leading people to believe that aliens are coming to visit us in droves, like they're all taking a school field trip to planet Earth, and then subsequently getting shot down, which I can't imagine would have been part of their itinerary. Now, this all started with the spy balloon that the US shot down. Basically, this balloon the size of a few school buses was identified and then executed. There's this giant balloon that looked like the house from Up, but instead of a house, it was just a surveillance device, which they said came from China, and from what I've read, China did take ownership of it, but called it an overreaction to shoot it down, which gave me a bit of a giggle because I just love that image of like, hey, whoa, guys, hey, cool the jets a little bit here, calm down, you know, no need to get so rambunctious and shoot it down. Which is just a silly thought, but this kind of opened the floodgates to UFOs, like inviting this unknown menace in, because now UFOs are being sighted every day, every couple of hours really, across the world. A few hours ago, China said that it was preparing to shoot down an unidentified flying object, so they're all over the place. It's a very interesting situation, and this is even more weird considering I just posted a video going over aliens and how I don't believe they've ever visited Earth, and now 2 days later, we've got UFOs out the wazoo here. Maybe the madman I was arguing with on Twitch was right about warp drives, and they're fucking firing on turbo mode with their warp drive technology to visit us here. I'll go ahead and give my perspective now. I still am not convinced it's aliens, because if it was, we stand 0% chance of actually shooting them down. Our technology wouldn't even begin to make them, like, consider us a threat. We are so laughably low on the technological food chain of a species that can visit our planet, because they would have cracked things that are beyond our comprehension. There's no way they'd somehow fall victim to our weaponry. But Zoinks Scoob, I'll tell ya, I couldn't be happier to be proven wrong. I would love if this truly was extraterrestrial tourists just coming by to visit, though I'm sure they wouldn't be happy about us destroying their, like, balloon travel devices, but god damn it, that would be amazing. I also love the idea that it actually is alien visitors, and the way that they get here is through, like, hot air balloon through space. Like, the most inefficient means of travel imaginable, but somehow that's the one that they've chosen. But regardless, I would love if it was aliens. I also love the discussion around aliens right now. You'll have people giving all kinds of, like, evidence, once again, of, like, abductions and shit. I fell asleep one day while working on the construction site, and when I woke up, there was ejaculate in my pants. And I didn't even remember having a wet dream. Fucking aliens abducted me and jerked me off in order to frame me to look like a weirdo at my job. You know, like, discussion around aliens has never been hotter than right now. And again, I would love if these UFOs really were alien, but I'm doubtful. And you know what? Maybe I could even make an argument for why aliens might want to visit Earth. Maybe they're coming here to buy Moist Global merch from moistglobal.com. It's so comfortable that words traveled across the galaxy. It's the best fucking merch ever designed, and they know it, so they have to come to Earth in order to get, like, proper connection to the server, so that way they can purchase it. And you can too. It's all available at moistglobal.com. Right now we're doing a special 15% off on all Moist Esports merch, so definitely feel free to check all that out if you're interested. moistglobal.com, baby. Anyway, though, I find all this very exciting, even though I'm not fully sold on it being aliens. I am very curious to learn more about all of this, because I'm sure tons of information will start to surface about what these UFOs actually are, what their purpose is, where they come from, all that kind of shit. So, very interesting time period. I'll show you some clips from stream where we talked about it a little bit more. You see the UFO videos over Canada. Is there video of it? I only saw the picture of the one that got shot down. Let's see. NORAD stated that they lost Santa's tracking signal. I fear the worst. Oh god. Heaven have mercy on the elves. Yeah, that's what we have up right here, the Canada UFO thing. Someone said there was a video, but I haven't found it yet, aside from the cell phone one where you can't see shit. I hope it's aliens. But all the pictures make it seem like it's probably another balloon. NORAD just said they locked up airspace in Montana. Something came up on the radar and disappearing. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say what everyone's thinking. It's no coincidence that Tom Brady retired and now all of a sudden aliens keep popping up. He was keeping us safe both on the field and off the field. The FAA has released a statement. The FAA has closed some airspace over northern Montana to support the Department of Defense operations. Contact NORAD for additional information. I'm also going to say that I really don't think it's anything extraterrestrial. There's no way that we would ever be able to fight back against something that could actually visit us. It'd be impossible. It's definitely more spy balloons or some kind of surveillance tech from somewhere on Earth. There'd be no shot we'd successfully shoot that shit down. Let alone ever see it. Yeah, maybe drones too. Could be any of that. You should go check it out, get us the real inside scoop. You know what Mr. Beast should do? He put out a tweet saying, would you vote for me for president? He should become president and just release all of the information they have about aliens. That'd be so hype. That video would be huge too, by the way. The views on that would be outrageous. Like, last to leave the circle gets all of the Area 51 documents. Yeah, and all of them are so fucking weak that they get shot down by primitive human technology. They can travel across the cosmos with technology we can't even begin to comprehend, yet they get shot down by our fucking jets. How embarrassing. A fun thought, though. They spec'd all of their points into travel and nothing into defense, so they're just full glass cannon build. Well, it wouldn't even be glass cannon. Glass wheel. So you talked about aliens 4 days ago, and they visit Montana and Alaska today. Thoughts? Hey, I think it's all connected. Maybe the aliens watch my streams and shit. They're like, oh fuck, he's talking about us. Alright, we'll show ourselves a little more often. That stream was fire. Aliens have come here to compete for Moist Esports. We talked about it on stream. If aliens do visit us, we want to be the ones to make first contact so we can sign them to Moist Esports. Imagine the position that gives us. They would be dog shit at video games. They don't need to go pro in any game. They can just be like content creators for us. Brand ambassadors. Yeah, pretty much. What do you mean? No, like if the aliens actually did show up and, you know, for some reason we negotiated a really good contract for them with Moist Esports, I think they wouldn't even need to really do anything special. But like if they're releasing the little balloons that we're shooting down, maybe fill one of those balloons with like, I don't know, maybe Moist Esports merch or something, right? Or even paint it blue, like Moist Esports colors. Like, they wouldn't need to do anything special for us. They can keep doing what they're doing, but under the Moist Esports umbrella. What if the aliens break TOS? I mean, that's fine. We'd have to teach them the guidelines and shit. Plus, I doubt they'd want to go that hard anyway. Like, right now, all they're doing is getting shot down. Like, they're not doing anything too risky. Much to the delight of my entire family, today we have received some groundbreaking news in regards to aliens. I feel like I'm giving some kind of press conference here about it because I feel so personally invested in it. For my entire life, my family has always firmly believed that extraterrestrials have not only visited this planet, but made contact with us, and we've like recovered some spacecrafts and all kinds of gadgets and gizmos that the government isn't telling us. And now they've received some vindication that that belief might be the truth. Today there was a hearing with a gentleman named David Grush who was claiming that not only have aliens come to this planet, but we have recovered some wreckage, some items, even some bodies, perhaps. And this is all sworn under oath, and he is a pretty credible source, all things considered. He was a military intelligence officer for about 14 years. He had, from what I understand, from what I've researched here, pretty high level clearance. He was a pretty important person in his post, and he is now putting all of this public at this hearing. Now, he hasn't presented any concrete evidence or any evidence like that, any proof, but his claims, he says, do have not only eyewitness supports, but real concrete proof, irrefutable evidence that he is unable to share publicly, but is able to share in private with Congress. So it's a very interesting development. I'll go over it a little bit more in depth. I talked about it on stream today. Overall, though, I don't think you're going to find anyone happier about this news than my dad. After the hearing today, my dad called me just full of jubilation. It was like a kid on Christmas. He was giddy, like a high schooler that actually just got a date to prom. My dad called me, laid out all of the details of what happened in the hearing, and was just so happy to hear someone that has credibility say these things because it gets him excited to hear it. He really wants to see alien proof and get to experience that truth coming to light. So this was a really cool day overall for me and my family. I still don't fully believe it, if I'm being honest, because he hasn't provided any proof. It's very hard for me to just take everyone at their word. I understand lying under oath is a serious offense, but it's not like that's never happened before. You know, you really think someone would do that? Go under oath and tell lies? Absolutely. For sure. It has happened before. It will happen again. I'm not saying it happened right now, but I just don't take anything at just the face value of the claims. I would like to see some of the evidence here. So I'm very excited to learn more about it. This has got me fucking salivating for more information and more details about all of the things that he's claiming. So let me just go ahead and play the stream clips now to bring you all up to speed on what went down. How many aliens could we take in a fight? Well, according to David Grush, we stand no chance at actually fighting them, apparently. Which, I have always said, if they are real and have visited us, well, I think aliens are real in the universe at some point. I personally haven't ever thought they visited us, but I've always said if they did, we would stand no chance. We would stand legitimately no chance. It'd be like putting a child up against, like, John Bones Jones. Like, you're never gonna win, right? And that's kind of what he said, too. One of the questions was, are our weapons sufficient to defend ourselves against them? Or something to that effect. And his answer was, absolutely not. According to my dad. So, like I said, I haven't watched the hearing yet. But once it was over, my dad called me, like, damn near celebrating. I could hear kazoos going off in the background. He's like, I told you, Charlie. I told you this day would come, that we'd have legitimate confirmation from reputable sources that aliens have come here. And he was filling me in. He was giving me the nitty-gritty behind everything here. But for those that don't know the situation, David Grush is a former military intelligence officer. We talked about him a little while ago. He is the real deal. He is who he says he is. And he does have actual pretty high-level clearance, as I understand it. And a little bit ago, he came to the public. Well, he made public statements that extraterrestrial visitors have not only been here, but have been observed, and in even certain situations, we have recovered some of their shit. And they had a hearing about this today. These are huge claims. Now, granted, he has not provided any evidence. He hasn't linked to, their social media accounts for us to double check or anything. We don't have any pictures or anything. Like, he doesn't have a picture of an alien doing a keg stand outside of Area 51 or anything. But he is a high-ranking intelligence officer who is making these claims. So it has more weight to it than most. So they had this hearing today, just kind of going over the scope of it, bringing everyone up to speed. And very interesting. He was asked point blank if there's any real biological indication that what they have is not of human origin. And he says, yes, it is not human. When asked how many people are aware of this, like in terms of like unidentified aerial phenomena, he said thousands of pilots have reported them but are either too embarrassed to come forward thinking people will call them crazy, or are unable to come forward because of like crackdowns, something like that. Evidence should be king here. Well, he's not on trial. There's no burden of proof here. This is a hearing just to get all the information. He did say he has all of the evidence, but is unable to bring it forward to the public, but is willing to share it with Congress in what's called a skiff, I think, is what my dad called it, or my dad's just making up terms to make me sound like a fucking idiot. I've never heard of that before, but apparently it's like a private hearing, and he said he's more than willing to give over all of the evidence he has on all of his claims in the private skiff. Yeah, that's a real thing? Okay. I've never heard of that. But one thing that I said was very fishy from the start about this story is David Grush actually had expressed written permission from the DOD to come forward with alien information. So to me, he's not really a whistleblower. He's more of like a spokesperson. I don't think that necessarily pokes holes in the credibility of the claims, I guess. But it is very interesting that they're labeling him a whistleblower when he literally has permission from the teacher. You know, this isn't a guy that fucking crawled through the trenches and threw up a signal in the sky in order to get us the information. He had permission. He had their blessing. Why is he doing this? We'll have his answer and then I'll give you my answer. He believes that he's doing the public a great service by bringing this information forward, thinking that we need to be brought into the loop here, brought into the fold in an ever-growing situation here with advanced life forms. I think the reason is distraction. I think all of this is serving as a big kind of distraction for what? I don't know. But I just find it so odd that the DOD would be like super on board with it and let him do all of this. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the distraction would be for. But I mean, here, let's spitball some tinfoil hat shit. Let's assume I'm right and it's all a distraction. I guess what they could do next is make claims like they need to build defense systems in order to combat potential extraterrestrials, like these big-titted goth babe aliens coming to Earth looking to harvest us. We've got to stop it. So we're going to need to increase our spending on defense programs in order to make sure that we're adequately prepared for it. But I would love to believe that this is all very legitimate. David Grush legitimately has real evidence. Aliens are real. We've recovered certain things, and he can prove all of it. That's what I want. But what I really believe is that this is all somehow a distraction. That's where I'm really torn. I don't know. This is, to date, probably the most credible person to come forward with apparently other witnesses of high-ranking military origin with evidence. And we now have more access to unidentified aerial phenomena than ever. That's very hard to explain. So this is probably as credible as it's ever been. But I just don't know. It just feels artificial. He said it all under oath. If he's lying, he just ruined his life. Yeah, of course. But there is a huge difference between a testimonial and evidence. We've heard the testimonial. It's all under oath, of course. But we haven't seen any evidence yet. The Israeli space chief said the Galactic Federation is in contact with America last year. The DoD doesn't support, they just released him to say what he believes is a classified program. That's the only other comment. But that's still giving their blessing, otherwise they would have shut him down like they do most other whistleblowers. For example, like Edward Snowden, right? Like, I feel like if they didn't want it out, it wouldn't have got out. And I don't know what the Galactic Federation is. I didn't realize we had Commander Shepard out there on the fucking Mass Effect relay at the Citadel or something talking to us. That's news to me. If this is all real, do you think they would ever tell the public the full story? No. If not, why do you think they need to hide it? Panic. Brother, we can't even handle the most basic concepts right now. Go on Twitter for any length of time, or excuse me, the platform formerly known as Twitter, for any length of time. People won't even accept the most obvious, conclusive, true statements anymore. We are not ready for it. Why do we have any reason to listen to them when they provide no evidence? Because of where the claim is coming from. This isn't just like a Joe Schmo. This guy was a high-ranking military intelligence officer for like 14 years. Not exactly like the number one person you'd think to just go out there and lie for no real benefit to himself. No, he didn't say if the aliens were hot or not yet. I'm going to assume no. I've always thought if there were aliens out there, they'd be like insectoid-esque. How would the government even capture the spacecraft? That's exactly what I said. I have no idea. The only thing that I could even somewhat spitball a guess, assuming it's all real, is they recovered wreckage from a spacecraft that blew up somewhere in space and drifted onto Earth and crashed somewhere. I don't think it came to Earth and then crashed. It certainly wasn't shot down. Apparently he even claimed we have no chance of even, like, defending ourselves against them. So it would have just had to be like a drifting piece of something. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you can't crash. Brother, you're not just smart. If you have something that can reach Earth, that means you have something that defies our very understanding, and this is even according to David, apparently. This is what my dad said, and he's right. That means you have something that is so far beyond our comprehension we can't even prove that what we're seeing would be real. You wouldn't just crash on Earth. The only thing that I could even think would be the case is, again, something happened, maybe it hits asteroids out in space and a piece of it breaks off and lands on Earth, crashes into Earth. It wouldn't crash when it gets to Earth. They can travel the galaxy without problem, but when they get to Earth, all of a sudden they're crashing everywhere. I don't think he was claiming that there's been a ton of crashes. Just a ton of sightings. And apparently they do have in their possession some UAP fragments and shit. And I guess bodies too. Aliens heard about your performance in the Hunger Games and needed to come see it firsthand. See, like, there's a theory I'd actually subscribe to. That one would make sense. But why are the aliens here? COVID? That's probably why. COVID hit their planet real hard and they were trying to escape. Or maybe they're here to collect COVID from us. They have like a virus museum or something and they need COVID to be part of it.
I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims.
God, imagine if he brought in an
but
alien.
As I stand here under oath now,
actions speak louder than words. Come in here, Glorb.
Told them. In a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Oh, that was one of the other questions they apparently asked pretty soon, is if anyone ever got injured reverse engineering any UAPs. And he said yes. But again, there's no evidence.
To which I was denied access.
I hope there will be at some point.
When
In what possible sense is he credible just because of position? Yeah, what? Yeah, obviously. A 14-year high-ranking military intelligence officer with, actually pretty impressive clearance? Yes. That is what would make him credible. Yeah. It's like what makes everyone credible is their position. Like, if it was me saying all of this, it would be completely uncredible. I am a worthless source. Right now, all it seems like is that they've made him a celebrity, with an official endorsement from the DoD. Which seems very weird for a whistleblower to get that kind of glamour from the people he's blowing the whistle on. I disagree. How? Look at all the other whistleblowers like Edward Snowden. Look what happened to him. Oh, here's another one. An easy one. Epstein got fucking murdered when he was about to blow the whole lid off of that crazy operation. If there's something they don't want released, it will not get released. Have you heard of the 7-foot aliens in Peru? So, I haven't kept up aside from like watching Mudahar's work on it, but apparently there's a lot of reports about alien attacks in Peru, and I saw one of the videos. I'll pull it up real quick. And I gotta tell ya, it's pretty compelling stuff. Where is it? I saw it on Twitter earlier. It's a very cool Adobe After Effects reel. Appreciate it fully. Thank you for that. And thank you, AFox. Thanks for a long time of watching. Goddamn, man. Where is it? Does someone have the... What Twitter account posted it? It was one of those, like, breaking news, Reptilians Among Us type tabloid accounts. Let me see. And I didn't see it on the UFO subreddit.
Indigenous community in Rodaman shoes didn't fall. It first crawled nuded and Brazil.
Is this it? No. Mystery of the 7-foot tall flying aliens. Where is the UFO fighting footage? Oh, I'm not sure, Abraham. Are you talking about Charlie Zelenov? He used to challenge a ton of people to fights out of nowhere. So there's a ton of videos and clips of like really low effort footage about these supposed alien attacks in Peru. But now I can't find the originals. Did the government take them down? Fucking space lasers and aliens. It's all going tits up right now. Hold on. Let me try searching it directly. I think Mudahar retweeted it yesterday or today. Depending on their intelligence, we could be homies. Maybe, yeah. That's probably what they're here for. They came to Peru to be our friend. Where is the fucking footage? It's really cool. Cool is the wrong word, by the way. What else should I try typing in? Maybe Peru UFO alien attack? No. Flying aliens in Peru are actually miners with jetpacks. I don't know what that's about. Whatever, I'm sure I'll find it later. Thanks, Infinity. Yesterday I saw a video of a duende, an Argentinian goblin, running behind a baby, and it was clearly an adult man in his underwear shrunk down. Yeah, whatever. Skeptic, idiot. That was probably an Argentinian goblin. You just refuse to believe. Thanks for the long time of watching, Julian. Appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie though, I am legitimately impressed just how dumb the world is becoming. First we had the giant, now it's Adobe After Effects UFOs shooting in Peru. Apparently now Argentinian goblins running around. We also had the gnome spotting recently. Shit's great. Oh, I appreciate that, Daniel. Glad you like it. Thank you. My girlfriend keeps trying to argue that you are lactose intolerant. Can you confirm or deny? What do you mean argue? Are you like fighting her on it without knowing? My girlfriend, she's such a scoundrel. She keeps saying you're lactose intolerant, Charlie, but you wouldn't be that weak, right? I'm not like super lactose intolerant, but I just recently went dairy and gluten free to try it. So that's been like 2 weeks. Because I definitely am lactose intolerant to some degree, but it's not like a kryptonite that's going to have me keeled over. But I just feel better when I don't have dairy. So I'm trying dairy and gluten free. See how it goes. What features would it take for you to believe that Threads can be a Twitter-topping platform? Do you work for Threads? You trying to get some insight? Let's see. The main thing I think Threads could probably do is immediately set the precedent early on what is and is not going to be the identity of the platform. For example, Twitter keeps changing everything. It's very volatile. And it's seemingly random how it works. So if Threads can come out with a very clear line on what is and is not going to be allowed on the platform, that immediately helps start it a bit. But I really think it's just an uphill battle because the only reason people are on Twitter isn't because it's good, it's just because everyone's already there. Aside from that, you can't really do much. Have you seen the dirt mount on Mount Arata? It could be Noah's Ark. What is happening? What is happening? Thanks, Jin. Have I seen the dirt mount in Arata that could be Noah's Ark? Is Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat? This is from an Instagram post. Or, sorry, a Facebook post. Can't say I'm familiar with this one. It seems like an interesting theory. I'll have to look at it later. I can tell you about a confirmed cryptid sighting. There's a goblin in Akron, Ohio. Okay, I'll check him out. We got real goblins out there now. Let's see. Rare goblin sighting Cyrax in Ohio.
It's a well-lit area, so no one suspects any.
Actually, hold on. This could absolutely be like some illegal shit coming up here. Some terms of service violations.
No one's
be a
quite
new
sure what to
mathematic.
make of the creature. Kids believe they can get a better killer again, but the boys do leave baffled. Then why was it walking the way that it was?
It's
What?
literally a shirtless guy. It's actually just a shirtless man. What the fuck? What is this? Is this a joke? It's legitimately a shirtless man walking around in the rain.
It appears to be a small goblin-like creature. No one's quite sure what to make.
So it is a joke then. Okay. I was gonna say, there are people that really do believe goblins are amongst us. So you never really know. Did you see the Twitter drama around the Scooby-Doo Springtrap, the fan-made crossover between Scooby-Doo and the Five Nights at Freddy's that got blasted for having AI voices? I did. I kept up with all of that discourse. That shit got so messy. Thanks, Way. Didn't know you were streaming. Yeah, YouTube's really bad about that. There's a lot YouTube needs to fix on the streaming side of things that would make it infinitely better. I still do bad game nights, yeah. I haven't done one in like 3 weeks, but bad game nights aren't like that rare. It's just I've been starting streams so late that I don't feel like perusing Steam. Just had a lot going on. But once I start an earlier stream, I'll do a bad game night, sure. And no, I didn't hear about that guy. I also don't know what that means. What did he steal from babies? I recently learned about a community on YouTube who uses something called light language to channel and communicate with aliens, and I just found it to be truly wild. So I've been practicing my light language, but I've been unable to get them on the line. I guess I just have bad service to the cosmic entities out there. So I fear my third eye may be forever closed. I might never experience the joy of tapping into that intergalactic Wi-Fi and communicating with these spacefaring organisms. However, not all is lost. I found a great YouTube channel called Skylife that actually did a really interesting video on it where she met with and interviewed an individual who claims to be able to communicate with aliens. I guess more accurately, she's able to allow alien communication through her as like a vessel. Kind of like in SpongeBob when they have the magic conch. Like, she is the human magic conch for the 5G extraterrestrials out there. Now, this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway in my own version of light language. Do not go harass anyone in this video. Don't be a fucking douchebag. No matter how you feel about alien channeling or communication or anything like that, just don't be a fucking asshole. One thing that I've learned about recently, I haven't watched this video, but there is I think she's a YouTuber who talks to aliens. And it's kind of similar to the Kundalini. She's able to tap into the alien hierarchy and speak their language to us.
If I weren't experiencing this reality, it would seem insane to me.
You believe you're an alien?
Definitely, I can open up a portal, speak your own version of light language as well.
See, like, I feel like aliens communicate with just orgasms. Because every time there's an alien channeler, they're just constantly busting.
Activation vibration.
In this
Do we have anyone fluent in light language that can translate? Like, I know I couldn't pop that in a Babelfish. Shit would just explode. You have any experts? You're dog shit, kid. Okay. I mean, that awfully long-winded for such a short sentence, but who am I to question the aliens?
They actually feel that they've come to Earth.
That was pretty low effort. At least the other ones are putting effort into making it sound like almost a language. Hers was just quiche, quiche, quiche.
They actually feel that they've
gotta work
come
on
to
that.
Earth from another part of the galaxy. She's coming.
Quiche, mama,
I've been
quiche,
wanting to meet
quiche.
you for like 2 years.
Welcome.
I've been feeling you like you've been coming through the realms recently.
What does that mean, coming through the realms?
Like you've been appearing in different realities, your name.
So I believe you're understanding the gist of it, where it's individuals who enter a trance-like state. Like, you know when you're really fucking turbo gaming and you just enter this flow state where everything just starts connecting? They enter that zone and then start speaking light language, which is their way of communicating with aliens, I believe, at least to my understanding. Now, one thing that I'd like to immediately question here is whether or not the individual Skylife is meeting with is actually the human or aliens using her like a fucking meat puppet. You know, there's no way of confirming whether or not there's a human soul in that body anymore, because maybe she went too deep. She got too lost into the cosmic vibrations, the chakras, and the aliens, you know, like you stare too long in the abyss and it stares back into you. The aliens have now taken over that body, right? Kind of like in Peacemaker with the butterflies. What a lovely
Where
portal.
I live, we call
Yes.
it the portal.
Really? There's
Whoa.
a resonant vibe.
There's lots of synchronicities happening already.
We have
So
a
much
Sekhmet over here.
nothing
What's
words.
Sekhmet.
What does that mean?
It's actually the
So
lion
many
goddess from
synchronicities
Egypt.
and
He's a guy,
quarks.
but genders are. There's different crystals actually aligned
saw a bottle
throughout
of
the
brain
place, all
juice.
set with intention to like hold a specific frequency, so that you feel good, so that you feel nourished, so that you feel loved.
That's my favorite frequency. Is that FM or AM?
Can we talk about this beautiful altar?
Yeah, she likes
We have a
shungite
bunch
and
of
shit, which is
different
cool.
things that are energetically represented.
Rest in peace, any
and, like,
Wi-Fi
symbolic
signals trying to
of
penetrate
certain
here.
frequencies to invoke. Though I haven't eaten meat in 11 years, actually, until I just did ayahuasca 2 weeks ago, and I had
What's
this whole
that?
thing come through where it was like I partly identify with the fact that I've been vegan, that I haven't eaten meat for over 11 years, and I'm like, I need to dissolve that ego.
I want to sit down and really
Yes.
dive into all of
Let's
this.
do it.
So let's go back to
I like to imagine that situation. Fuck, I've been vegan for 11 years. I'm becoming too self-centered. Fucking starts blasting chicken nuggets and chicken wings. Alright, good. Now I'm humbled again. Back to being vegan. This story here really confused me. It was like veganism tenet. Like, I don't really know what she was trying to say. So I looked up ayahuasca because I'd never heard of that before. And it's apparently a plant-based psychedelic. So she basically had a trip and then was like, damn, I partly identify as being vegan. Which would make sense, right? Like, if you made the choice to be vegan, you should fully identify as being vegan. So why is it partly? And why is she looking at it as a negative thing? Perhaps this was like one of those weird out-of-body experiences. Like when Doctor Strange blasts fucking Spider-Man's soul out of his body and Tom Holland is like floating outside and he's like, damn. She must have had that happen. Like the ayahuasca just split soul from vessel. And she was like, shit, that's a vegan. And then what? Like, I don't know if because she said she didn't eat meat for 11 years until she did ayahuasca, so I'm assuming when she did, she started just fucking pounding meat, like gluttonous, grabbing pork, duck, veal, lamb, you know, all kinds of shit. Like, that's the impression I got. Like, she was a vegan for 11 years until ayahuasca, where she had this epiphany where it's like, gee willikers, I guess I was vegan. Time to dissolve that for some reason. And it might be my fault because I'm not fluent in light language, so I have a hard time wrapping my head around a concept this big brain, this galaxy brain. Like in the cosmic scale of intelligence, I'm still down here at like the primordial ooze, and she's somewhere towards like a level 3, like a type 3 civilization intelligence, I think. Because I couldn't even spell ayahuasca. I thought ayahuasca was like a small town somewhere in the Midwest. I didn't know it was a psychedelic or anything. And when I was Googling it, I had to spell it like 20 different ways before I finally found the correct spelling for the plant-based psychedelic. So really, it's probably just my lack of understanding because my brain isn't like truly opened. I'm not using 150% of all my neurons.
what's it called? A hand drum?
A handpan, but it's a space drum. It
It's
is
a UFO.
It's actually a spaceship.
In your lap.
It's a
that
cosmic
plays
instrument.
Sound frequencies that are like cosmic binaural beat sound frequencies that register to certain parts of your brain and activate certain awarenesses and consciousness.
It's like the secret space program instruments.
Feel. Same thing as light language.
I don't
understand.
Unlocking our memories from our spacefaring days.
How do I do it?
It's kind of like I would love to.
I'd love to talk
create
to
a
some aliens,
space, a
please.
container to where you feel comfortable.
Say
and
what's
if you feel
up.
called, to allow your soul
They have
to
Fortnite
speak your
out
own
there?
version of light language as well. And as I was meditating, these 3 light beings appeared on each side of my bed, like kind of what you would think an alien would look like, where they were really tall, their heads were different shapes, and their arms and their legs were more lengthy, and they had maybe about 3 or 4 fingers I couldn't
so like
fully see, but they weren't
you
physical
communicated
form,
with a
they
Ninja
were
Turtle.
emanations of light. I woke
But
up
you
the
were
next-
awake.
I was awake.
Imagine
I was not sleeping.
Mikey's
I
just
wasn't in a dream,
communicating
and
with
they
her.
lifted
It's like, I just
out
need a
my
pizza.
light body so I could see it. Almost. I started thinking about Arcturians. Arcturians.
Oh,
What are
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Arcturians?
So the name Arcturians just
Real quick, just to connect everything here, this is so serendipitous she decided to bring this up. I mean, maybe we are vibrating on the same frequencies thanks to this portal. The SSP, Secret Space Program, that's very big in Arcturians. So the Arcturians, they're a spacefaring lizard race, and they can also have shape-shifting abilities as well as vampirism. I think they can also be werewolves as well. So really, it all kind of blends together. So she might be speaking the truth. She could be a Secret Space Program member. Yeah, I'm sure all of you that accept the truth of our universe are very familiar with the Arcturians. Very cunning, very intelligent beings out there. In Mass Effect, I'm sure they were somewhere in the Citadel as well. They're something that always gets brought up in pretty much every single conspiracy theory, that at least ones that involve space. I don't exactly understand why, but somehow Arcturians just always find their way into these communities.
Fully relaxing your nervous system.
Can we move the cat? It's gonna get caught in the crossfire beams. Oh shit. Fuck, I'm starting to transcend. And I don't even have like the eucalyptus oil on me or whatever. Oh my god. Oh, Kalimba!
Shwarasiki asha salafwa kapi as asham indiki asha safua.
It's coming!
mentioning it still.
Which is natural and normal, and that's a part of the fun, where it's like we forget so that we can remember.
My fear is that I'm just gonna make things up.
At first it may feel like that, but you have to give yourself permission, because that's still the ego doubting.
It's like
I'm gonna
the
be
exact
speaking to
opposite,
you
I would
as
think.
well. It'll be a conversation.
So from what I can tell here, the ritual, the sacred ceremony to start summoning the aliens here to our dimension consists of just laying down while having obscure instruments being played over top of you, I guess, to align your vibrational, frequency with the correct space frequency or something. I like when she brought out the kalimba, though. I actually had a kalimba myself for a while that I can't find now. Perhaps some kind of cosmic burglar came in to steal it because maybe kalimbas are too powerful an instrument. Maybe I was pretty close to summoning a dangerous alien here. But I had this kalimba and I could play the Teriyaki Boys on it from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. The dun 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 dun. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I was a little disappointed to see that she didn't break out into that solo there and get that pumping, because that probably would have summoned some fucking badass aliens. Like, the aliens would have come in and start talking about, like, fucking horsepower, diesel, suspension, shocks, and carburetors. They probably wouldn't have even summoned an alien, and they just probably would have brought in Dominic Toretto or something. I also really like that line, "We forget so that we can remember." That's basically just a Mudvayne song, "Forget to Remember." So maybe they're summoning the spirit of Mudvayne, I guess, trying to get that band back together.
Okay, so like bring your energy into our hands and let's activate
That
the
was
energy.
profound.
And so we're just gonna
Speak
be like
it.
kind of moving the torso.
Come on, let's go. Oh, she's falling into the galactic stream of vibrations. The chakras. Oh, fuck! It's a close encounter with the third kind! Be careful! It's too much energy! So you're gonna go turn into Dr. Manhattan! Who am I communicating with? Who's on the horn? Banish it! Ah! Get out of this realm! No! She's too deep! Alright, we're coming down. Fuck, that was close. She was tapped into the mainframe. Oh, now she's communicating with an alien comedian, huh? What's he saying? Good lord. Jesus! Let her go! Oh God, no! Jesus, have some class! These fucking cosmic beings! Stop it! Oh my God. Where did she travel?
Okay, that's it.
Sounds good.
The adventure continues.
Yep. Bye-bye. That was interesting. You know, that was pretty good. Skibbity-dee-dee, boop-bada-bop. Boom-bottom-bop. That was me saying goodbye in light language. It does seem cathartic to just get the wiggles out and like just have a full body exorcism like that. I imagine that probably feels pretty good. I don't know if it necessarily makes me a believer in the communication with aliens through light language, but if nothing else, as long as it makes them happy, I guess that's what matters. You know, it's not hurting anyone. It's pretty harmless. Just yeah, thought it was a pretty interesting and fun community to talk about and share a bit of. And anyway, that's really about it. So yeah. Do you think me a fool? Do you really think there would be groundbreaking new alien information and I wouldn't know about it? Ridiculous. I stay at the forefront of all alien developments. I love alien shit. Last night, there was a surprise broadcast from Mexican Congress where they presented supposed alien corpses. And you bet your sweet bippy I was glued to it. Now I want to start by laying out the foundation here. I'm going to give you all of the eating utensils before feeding you the meal. Basically, what happened is there is a individual by the name of Jaime Maussan, and he claimed that he had 1,000-year-old alien bodies that he presented at Mexican Congress. There's a lot of confusion around this situation right now. People are misled into believing that this was the Mexican government coming forward and just dropping this hot potato on everyone out of nowhere, when that's not the case. This is from an individual, Jaime Maussan, who is a UFOologist and researcher, and he is presenting all of it. And this isn't even his first time doing it. In 2017, he presented yet another mummified alien corpse, not human, but it was later debunked and proven to not be alien at all. So he has done this before, but this time around he's presenting new corpses and also claiming that there's been extensive research, studies, tests, and scientists working on it to confirm that these are 100% real, authentic extraterrestrial visitors. Now, he and his team are saying that all of this information is available for any scientists around the world to confirm their findings, which I think is great. Inviting research into these is fantastic, and I guess we can finally know for certain if he's being truthful here, and these are somehow actually alien bodies. I guess they came down to Earth for fucking spring break and just, they lost control of themselves, maybe drank too much and died of liver failure. I have no fucking clue. But we have these corpses from 1,000 years ago. He's claiming these are mummified aliens and has a bunch of tests, allegedly, that they've run on them and is inviting the rest of the world to do the same. So I'm excited to see if the rest of the world does that and if they also confirm all of these findings. But now let's get into talking about the aliens themselves, and then I want to bring on an expert, my father. You all know my father is on the cutting edge of everything alien related. If anyone's going to have an eye to see through the bullshit, it's gonna be old Papa Charles, I'll tell you right now. Oh, it's a little carcass. I couldn't even tell. I don't believe that at all. This is way too stereotypical alien look. I think there is no way. I think there's absolutely no fucking shot. I just don't believe that, though. If this looked actually less like all of the movies depict aliens, I'd be far more on the side of, possibly. But this actually just looks like a prop from, like, Arrival Or not Arrival. What's the, oh my god. What is the one that has the really quintessential grays from back in the day? I can't remember now. They even made, like, little postcards for them. Like, you're invited. Okay. Pretty cool. It'd be wild if these were real and our movie depictions of aliens were spot on. That would be a crazy. That would be big. But I don't see why they would bother faking this. I don't see what the gain is other than like a good joke. Humano? No humano. I understand that. I feel like aliens are likely to look like giant insects. I think they'd be insectoid as well. Your father would disagree? I don't think he'd believe this. This looks very silly. And especially just to drop it cold turkey out of nowhere on a YouTube stream. Well, I guess it was more than a YouTube stream. This just happens to be one of the places it was broadcast. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So they put it into a database that is able to be accessed by anyone to verify their claims. They show a list of tests that have been done to the bodies, including metallurgy specialists, radiologists, and geneticists. They verified the authenticity and age of the bodies. They showed scans of their insides that showed metal implants in some of them, as well as eggs with embryos and organic material inside of them. Okay, well, if anyone can access it, it should be super easy for every other scientist in the world to start running tests on it, then to confirm it. That should be an easy slam dunk then if it's real. Oh, it's a 43 gig file. Holy shit. Well, if it's all there, then put it in the labs of the brightest scientists in the world. They'd all want to get a piece of that action, I imagine. Let them run wild. We could win the alien war if they actually look like that. In hand-to-hand combat, for sure. But their tech to get here must be nuts. So now let's go ahead and break down what we've seen here. Judging from the bodies, they're not that large. They're not, like, imposing in stature. I actually feel confident that I could beat them in a fight, whereas normally the only age group I'm comfortable at beating in hand-to-hand combat is ages 12 and below. I feel like there's just not many children that would beat me in pugilistic combat, and I feel the same for this alien race if they're all about that same size. And who's to say that these aren't like their elite warriors and the normal aliens could be even smaller? Like, I feel like I'd have no problem just wiping the fucking floor with them, just feeding them knuckle sandwiches out the wazoo. So that's nice. That makes me feel a lot more confident should this be a real alien, and they all look like that. I feel like we'd have a really good chance if it came to, like, fighting them with our bare hands. Now, apparently one of the aliens also had eggs inside of it, so I guess it was pregnant. Maybe it's possible we could dust the cobwebs off and hatch those puppies ourselves. That would be pretty wild. But now anyway, you've heard from the dumb Neanderthal, Charles White Jr., but let's hear from the preeminent expert in alien research, Charles White Sr. I've given you my perspective. I don't necessarily believe this, but I'm going to withhold full judgment for the rest of the world's scientific studies on these bodies. Hopefully those results and those studies will be conducted soon. But let's see what my dad had to say.
Me.
Hey.
What's up?
You look at the alien corpses?
No. Where's that?
How have you not seen them yet? Go look at them right now and tell me what you think.
I'm working on the Top Fuel dragster.
Well, the Top Fuel dragster can wait. You gotta see the alien corpses. I need an expert's opinion.
Why do you care? Because you want to make fun of me?
I'm not making fun of you. I just want to know what you think about it.
So where do they claim they got these things from?
The Nazca lines. They claim they're 1,000 years old.
Well, I know all about the Nazca lines.
Yeah, I knew you would.
They look awful small. I mean, to me, it looks like a fucking paper mache rock or something.
So, you don't think it's real alien evidence?
I don't think it's real. I mean, not to me. That's not real alien evidence. That could be any video. Hell, I could build that myself. With some paper mache.
Okay. All right. So this one does not have your stamp of approval as legitimate.
No. But all the other shit in the world does, like all the construction and all the other stuff. I mean, this is like, I don't know. This is too phony to me.
All right, so it's not as convincing to you as Puma Punku and all that.
Fuck no, not even close.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first. If my dad doesn't believe it's real alien evidence, then dag nabbit, it's just not real alien evidence at the end of the day. So he's not super convinced of it. He's, of course, going to keep his finger on the pulse, as will I. Since they are inviting the rest of the world to study these mummified remains, I'm hoping that we'll get some conclusive yeses or nos on if it's extraterrestrial or not. I feel like that shouldn't be super hard to prove if it's a fucking alien, if it's something that we've never seen before, and, I feel like that'd be kind of easy if it's all real, but we'll wait and see. Either way, it was still just a wild development from out of nowhere, so definitely wanted to talk about it. That's really about it. So, yeah. It's that time again where I start gushing about aliens. It's one of my favorite topics to discuss. It's the one I get most heated about on stream and have the most absurd conversations with chat on stream about. And yesterday, there was a massive UAP congressional hearing that had some very well-established individuals, some very high-ranking individuals that were making testimonies under oath about UAPs and government divisions, as well as general information about things relating to UAPs and the government. It's all very interesting, especially because it's coming from people who have real merit here. It's like substantial credibility for the individuals that have come forward under oath to speak on these things. It's not like they just grabbed random nobodies, right? They didn't go out there and find Jericamo Sloppenheim, who goes to the congressional hearing talking about how the green guys from space probed his chocolate starfish. This is very buttoned up people that have come forward to talk about these things and blow the whistle on UAP departments, even talking about how some people were injured during UAP retrieval programs, and it is fascinating. I haven't had the chance to talk to my father about all of this, whom all of you know is the preeminent expert on anything extraterrestrial. He is the world's best when it comes to anything alien related. I'm sure right now he's hunkered down, doodling away, crunching numbers, theorizing things, all from these new testimonials that have come forward. But I think it's important to note that they don't present any, physical evidence. The evidence that gets presented here about the UAPs and everything is testimonial, which is real evidence, but I don't want anyone coming into this expecting them to wheel out the corpse of the fucking Martian Manhunter or something, or have, an alien smoking a cigarette talking about his time in deep space and his journey to get to Earth. That doesn't happen. Instead, they are talking about departments and different things that have been going on for a while in regards to non-human crafts. And one of the biggest ones is about the Immaculate Constellation program, which is now fully available for anyone to go out there and read, which I think is a very cool thing to do. And also there was this moment. Now I learned about it on stream last night, so I didn't get to do a huge deep dive on stream, but this morning I spent quite a bit of time going over a lot of the big moments, and this one really stood out to me.
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness. That's
pretty big, considering this is all under oath. And this is someone who was once a counterintelligence operative for the government. This isn't just some random, fucking weirdo in their basement who's locked themselves away feeding into delusions. This is someone that did have a pretty powerful position, at least as I understand it, and many others who came forward here, the same. They all had positions that have real merit for what they're talking about. So it is a big deal to have these testimonials. Now, as I discussed on stream, I still believe aliens are absolutely out there in the universe. Those slimy weasels, I know they're out there having a hoot and a holler, but I truly, sincerely do not believe they have ever been to this little fucking space rock. I just don't. I just think it is so unbelievably unlikely, and if they ever did visit us, we would never know because their technology would be so far beyond our comprehension, and there's no way we'd be able to actually even see it at any point, let alone retrieve some kind of crash. Like, the odds of them crashing in here, there's a higher chance that I get a growth spurt in my 30s. Like, it's just so unlikely. Now, I don't believe anyone during the congressional hearing was lying under oath. Absolutely not. I have no doubt that everyone that was testifying and giving their statements was being 100% truthful. I believe all the departments are real departments. I believe all the programs are real programs, all of that they spoke about. I believe in this case, they believe that there was a real nonverbal communication with a non-human entity. But there's no physical evidence that was presented. There's nothing that was presented that convinces me that, oh, it really was aliens. I know they're being truthful. Like, I'm very confident in that, but that doesn't mean that it's absolutely aliens. For example, this statement about, like, definitively, yes, we have had nonverbal communication with non-human entities. Well, we also thought that back in the 70s with the WOW signal. And there's still a lot of people who believe the WOW signal is irrefutable proof of intelligent life out there, but I just think there's more evidence to suggest that it isn't. There's a lot of other explanations for what the WOW signal really is. Like, just because he believes that there was 100% definitive communication with a non-human entity doesn't mean that that's what it was. There could be something else to explain it. And since we weren't presented with any of what that is, it's now just, okay, I guess I have to assume it was aliens because he believes it's aliens, you know? It's just hard to get me to 100% say, like, yes, it's aliens. I desperately want to. I would be extremely happy to be proven wrong about my take that aliens have never visited us. But at the moment, there just still isn't that proof that gets me there and convinces me of that. But hopefully this is the start of more and more conversations and more information about UAPs and the government's involvement with UAP programs and departments. Maybe we can get some more declassified information and evidence of anything of non-human origin. That would be extremely exciting. If that information and that content exists, I would love for that to start being shared, and this seems like a good step in that direction if all of it truly is of non-human origin. So hopefully this is just the first of many UAP breakthroughs. Did you watch the UAP Congress hearing today? Apparently it was earth-shattering. The UAP thing was today? I'll definitely take a peek. I feel like if this actually was groundbreaking, my dad would have called me ASAP with a big "I told you so."
Live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, you were in the room for that more than 2-hour hearing. What did you learn?
Aliens are real. You won't believe it. And they want to suck my dick right now.
If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by a non-human intelligence?
No, my buddy Eric makes them in his garage.
That's precisely why we're here. The problem is that, temporally speaking, over decades, not just the last 10 years, to put this in perspective,
Are these private companies you're implying, or is this non-human intelligence?
It may be both.
Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force technology.
What? Maybe both. Like they're working together, or like there's different UAPs? I don't think they could both be true, right? They're private company aliens. Oh, of course, yeah. What's next? You gonna tell me the aliens unionized or something? Yeah, whatever. Man, I wish they just had 3 titties.
Okay. Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am. I signed documentation 3 years ago that restricts my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals.
It's like the Suicide Squad. They got like that thing in their neck gonna blow his head off if he talks about it.
And what is in the book is what I was told I'm allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
That's not, well, that doesn't necessarily mean they were successful. That just means they might have seen something and then tried to go get it and reclaim it, believing that it could be a UAP. And then what they found could have very well been just my buddy Eric's man-made doohickey. But that would be cool if they have retrieved some.
Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes.
So those 2 yeses right there at the end, Very important there. Now, just shortly after that hearing, that was Congresswoman Nancy Mace
Yeah.
chairing.
I mean, it's cool to hear, but that's not surprising. I don't think aliens have ever visited Earth. I've made that very clear. I know aliens are out there. I think it's unlikely that we're the only intelligent life. I just don't think they've ever been here. I truly don't. But it's not surprising me to hear, like, I'm assuming it's true because he's under oath, that they had like a program to go retrieve it and try and like reverse engineer it. That doesn't mean that it ever found or produced anything, right? Like, I've had times where I've gone out trying to get laid. I didn't get laid. Shit, I didn't meet anybody. You know? Like, it's you know, you can have those plans, you can try and do those things. It doesn't necessarily mean that it worked. But I think the question should be, have they ever retrieved anything of extraterrestrial origin? Because you can have a department dedicated to reverse engineering it if it's ever retrieved. The question should really just be, have we ever actually gotten anything of extraterrestrial origin? That's what I want an answer to, and some evidence of.
Yes.
See, that's not confirmation they ever got one. Again, that is a program that would aim to retrieve them, if there was any. Like, I feel like there's millions, like, we have a fucking Space Defense Force program, right? They haven't fought off any alien invaders, I'll tell you right now. Apparently, the biggest bombshell during this hearing was documents regarding the Immaculate Constellation program, which is a secret UFO retrieval program the Pentagon is running. They just released them online for everyone to read. Ooh. United States Department of Defense and the intelligence community are withholding information about anomalous phenomena from Congress. It's a testimony from Michael Schellenberger. I do believe we probably have plenty of programs for that. Like, there's no way this guy's lying, not under oath. No shot. I definitely do think there are programs for, like, retrieval of UAPs or, like, any kind of investigation into it, reverse engineering if they ever find one. I just don't think it's ever happened. I don't think there's ever been a alien spacecraft that has ended up here. You don't think UFOs exist at all? I think it is so unbelievably, like, main character syndrome type shit to think that somehow aliens, if they have faster than light travel or wormhole traveling capabilities, would somehow just crash on our fucking tiny little planet. That would be so unbelievably unlikely because it's incomprehensible to us the technology that they would already have in order to even make it this far. Like, that's so unlikely. And for us to catch a glimpse of them is even more unlikely. If they made it here and we'd somehow see them in a fucking Tic Tac, that's unbelievably unlikely. So the witness is lying? Brother, how many times I gotta say it? No, I don't think they're lying at all. They're talking about programs. I have no doubt these programs exist. Just like we have our Space Defense Force program. But we're not defending the Earth from anything right now. We're not fighting off the fucking Tyranids out there with the space defense program America's got. They exist, I have no doubt. I have no doubt about it. They're definitely not lying. Tic Tac video, probably the most credible we have. Yep, that and the other one from the ship. Those are the two UAP videos that have the least amount of explanation for. What do you think about the theory that aliens created us and are coming now because we're close to ending ourselves? What? I think that's a theory that's based on nothing but someone who really likes anime. If life is found on other moons in our solar system, would people finally stop thinking we are special and we're literally the point of the universe? So for the longest time, I always thought if aliens ever visit us, if aliens ever have visited us and we finally reveal it, I always thought they'd be like a unifying moment because in pretty much every sci-fi property ever, when people speak of humanity or Earth, it's always like one united front of humans. And I always thought if aliens were discovered, that would be that unifying moment where like everyone on Earth comes together. And now I'm 100% sure that would never fucking happen at all. That would just never happen. That just caused so much fucking chaos now. We'd take their oil. Yeah. Man, we would butt fuck them so hard if we could. How disappointed would you be if aliens just looked like humans but with pointy ears or glowing eyes? There is not a single alien design that would actually disappoint me. The only one that would disappoint me is if aliens looked like what that researcher said dudes are going to look like from gaming in 20 years. If they looked like this, then I'd be mad. But anything shy of this, I'm going to be blown away. I'm going to be so happy.